along with your background, you are very heavily involved in finding solutions towards the drug and opioid epidemic. Did you want to go into detail of why that is so passionate to you?
Yeah, so I mean, I'll be honest. Very unfortunately, I lost my little brother, JT. It was 16 years ago that he passed away. Um, so it's been a little while. And yeah, it's wasn't something that's 16 years ago was not on the news over like it is now. I think it was because just kind of the beginning when you see those graphs and charts of overdose deaths. He was probably more in the beginning of that. It was really confusing at the time, and I think there's a big stigma around it. I definitely didn't want to say I lost my brother to drugs at the time, but after a few years, it seemed like it was appearing on the news a little bit more, and just doing my own research. And I think I felt like a desire, like I wanted to do something around that. I wasn't quite sure what. I tried a couple things, and I think where I kept on landing back is I'd see data and I wanted to do something. So I got involved with some groups here in Colorado, and I'd get data from the states and look at like on a county by county basis. And I just made some time animated maps and just looking how things were getting worse over the last 10 years. And then it just kind of kept on going. And I started to talk to other people about things that they could map. Mapping overdoses. City, it got to be a pretty big thing for um, first responders because a lot of times people think of fire departments and they're responding to fire, but a lot of times they're responding to medical calls, and they're getting a huge increase in responses to overdoses. So they wanted to map that to see the response patterns were. So I had about 5 years ago, I worked we started something called the Opioid Mapping Initiative. We're basically just got a bunch of people together, got a bunch of cities and counties, some nonprofits, and they all just started sharing. Or I'd basically hold webcast, and I kind of get a guest speaker each month, and they talked about what they were doing, and it was just a collaboration, getting awareness out there. And it was cool because we'd see some people that would share something, and then other people would kind of replicate it and do something from there. So yeah, I was just mapping overdoses, where resources could be for naloxone, especially a drug that reverses an overdose. And it's getting to be a lot more popular now, but a few years ago it was really hard to find. So just mapping resources for that. So I did that. And then I also made a map that's been really popular for called Lost Loved Ones. And it's really to address that stigma piece about, I think so many people have a perception of what a drug user is, and social media can be really mean, and people will say, "Oh, they deserve to die." And like so many families that are struggling and have lost really great people that have been to addictions. Really, it's just a simple map where it's just a bunch of dots on the map, and each dot has a associated picture and a story. So put that together as a crowdsourced map where families could go in and add their loved one. And my little brother JT is the first one on there, but it's well over a few thousand people now. It's been just kind of an awareness tool more than anything.
Yeah, and I checked out that map and um, first off, I apologize. And secondly, I think that map is such a wonderful tool because, like you said, people I think have a negative, they have an idea of what a drug user looks like. And so when you look at that map, you're looking at people who you would just think first impressions is not doing opioids or is not doing drugs. And so, what is the link to this map for people if they're interested in looking at it?
A short way to get to it is memorial.nsc.org. So I started it just as my own thing, and then it's now hosted by the National Safety Council. That's what the
Mhm.
NSC is. They're an organization they're a nonprofit that does just safety things. They got started, I think, like back in the 50s. Their major initiative was like to get people to wear seatbelts, but now they do all sorts of things. But one of it is a lot of workplace safety. And they just kept on hearing about overdoses being an issue in the workplace too. They kind of have taken on, but yeah, memorial.nsc.org.